Hey there, viewers, it's Charlie. I'm back again with another Transformers review. And today's review is going to be on Studio Series Scavenger. And oh my god, this figure is really big. And I say that because, of course, leader class figures starting around Siege started to just become Voyagers with either extra stuff with coming with them or just Voyager class figures with extra budget, like more paint or more moving parts. So to get to a leader class figure like this, who's still like the size of an older leader class figure, it's nice to know that we still get stuff like this, because we got this Transmetal 2 Megatron, Studio Series Blackout and Grinder, which I do really want to get. So we still do occasionally get later class figures who are just, well, big figures. So, yeah. Now, of course, the Studio Series Constructicons are the first figures of the original Fallen Constructicons who could do the vehicle mode, robot modes, and the combined mode. All the other figures could either do just the robot and vehicle modes or the vehicle mode and combined mode. So, yeah. And, well, why did I get this? Because, of course, there's like a huge gift set where I could just get all the Constructicons. You know, that's like, what, 250 quid? Well, for one, that gift set's like really expensive. And two, I found this online for like £30, even though most leader class figures are 50 something pounds. So I couldn't pass up the opportunity. And who knows, maybe I'll find the other Constructicons for like good prices eventually. In like 10 years' time, I don't know. But the third reason, I have the original Scavenger figure. Oh, well, Demolishor in this case, because they couldn't pick a name back then. So it's nice to sort of have like a new version of this figure as well. Seeing how I also had Mixmaster, I don't have him anymore. I have Payload, and I had Rampage. I think I got rid of him, so I do want to get those figures at least. So, yeah. Okay, tangent aside, let's move on to looking at the packaging for Scavenger. And, yeah, throughout the review, I'm going to be calling him Scavenger, not Demolisher. That goes for the original figure when we do the comparison as well. Yeah, looking at Scavenger's packaging. Of course, we got the older Studio Series style packaging before they moved to being all plastic free, which I think they are starting to revert to that eventually. So, yeah, we've got a picture of Scavenger right there. Studio Series number 55. Constructicon Scavenger. They all have the Constructicon prefix. Revenge of the Fallen, that's the movie he's from. This side we got a picture of his face. This side we got a picture of Devastator. All the Constructicons have this on the backdrop, the picture of Devastator's face right there. The back we got Scavenger in both modes. Got the Pyramid Desert Battle. Of course, enemy scrotum. The actual backdrop included. Says what he does in the film. So this shows that this is Scavenger, not Demolisher. And well, opening up the box. Of course, we got the plastic tray, which I didn't do anymore. And in fact, you also get this, which sort of protects the face and the front wheel thing. But yeah, for the backdrop, and we can just throw this box away after this. So yeah, the included backdrop, and of course it's quite big. It's the pyramids. Where of course Devastator climbed one, and If I remember, he got killed by, I'm pretty sure it was primed by the Jetfire. It's been a while since I saw the film. I might be wrong. But yeah, of course, the pyramids are where Devastator combined, so it makes sense for the Constructicons to have this as their backdrop. So, if you want, you can just put Scavenger Day. It's not going to fit. But we'll just include this later at the end of the review. So, yeah. And, well, looking at the actual excavator mode, of course, I'm not sure the actual type, but it's not the one where the bucket's like this. It's like this. And yeah, this is really big. I mean, it makes sense. This forms the torso section for Devastator. We're looking at all the details here. We've got the step ladder here, so you can get a sense of how big this would be in real life. Got the treads. Unlike the Voyager figure from back in the day, this actually has wheels. So you can roll this along. The back, which is just a whole cluster fudge of stuff. You can sort of see a full wheel there. So yeah, the top is not really that well, yeah, it's best not to look there. Got this side. This flap is actually a separate piece in the box, which you have to attach separately. But after that, you don't have to worry about that. Here we have the actual bucket. So if you want to put something in there, then go ahead. I don't know if you want to put your chewing gum in there, then go ahead. It's the first thing I grabbed. Got the driver's section, which it's going to be hard for them to see out because there's no front window. Of course, we've got the actual arm, which can move here. You can move at the actual section here. The bucket can move. It can move here. And it's on quite a tight ratchet joint. So, yeah. Oh, the treads are moving up. That's part of the transformation. And if we move the arm up, you could see this. Of course, that's the full wheel for the robot mode. So, yeah. So if you look at it from the side, it looks pretty good, but yeah, it doesn't really look that good from the front, unfortunately. But, well, how does he look next to the original Scavenger, or back then, Demolishor? Because I guess they couldn't really think of what to call the red one back then, but of course now we know that the red one is Scavenger and the white one is Demolishor. I wonder why we haven't had a Studio Series Demolishor yet, because the backdrop could be the scene where he's like terrorizing the highway section, if I remember correctly. Like, yeah, it's kind of weird how I haven't had a Studio Series Demolishor yet, but yeah, comparing these two, I mean, of course, this guy's treads are actually quite bigger. Like, they extend to past the front of the excavator, where this guy's treads are much smaller. The arm's a different color. This guy's arm's red, this is white. The arms are sort of different. Got this sticking out, which you can sort of replicate if you want. So you can sort of replicate that if you want. But yeah, the back is much cleaner on the Studio Series version. Although, I'll give it that, the top is much cleaner on the original version. Mainly because the actual treads form the wheels in the robot mode. Whereas here, they just close up into a singular wheel, whereas we got a full one in here. I guess there's props for an actual front window in this version. And of course, we've got the Mecha Live. So, yeah. I'm gonna say this is like based on a concept art design, but at least you got like a Decepticon insignia. Yeah, I kind of prefer this because at least this can actually stand better in robot mode, and we'll see that later. Although I can get it to stand better, I mean. So, yeah. That's pretty much it for the alt mode. And yeah, it's kind of a mess when you look at it from certain angles, but I still kind of like it, mainly just due to its size. But yeah, so getting onto the transformation. Well, of course, this is quite a big figure, so I'm gonna have to do something that I rarely ever do nowadays and find something to prop my camera up. So let's just use the box. So if you'll just excuse me. So, getting this guy transformed, well, let's just actually do it. So to start, we're just going to get the little cabin thing out the way. Lift this flap. Split the bucket and the arm. Flip these little panels around. Rotate the arm up. On these loud ratchets. Get the arms up. Then just move these to the back. So you can pretty much just see how the wheels work here. Get the head like so. Just tap the driver's cabin bit into place. Move this little flap section down. Untable this like so. Push up the treads. Close up this wheel. It's kind of hard to show this because this is such a big figure, but you close up this wheel. So remove all this down. Spin these wheels around. Then these just interlock with each other. Try not to hit your paper backdrop if you have stuff when you're doing a review. But you just get your treads into locks if you can actually do that. Given how I'm doing this in a recording, it's going to misbehave for me. I have no idea what's causing this to not go in. There we go. So you just want to try and get these treads into lock so they form the bottom wheel. Try and get these out the way so we can spin this wheel around 180 degrees. And then we can try and get these tabbed in, which I'll do off camera. You do actually tab in. Next we'll just rotate these around. Get the arms tabbed in, which I'm not going to do because these tabs are really tight and I might break something. And that's not just my copy, that's a widespread issue. Just move that. Just do the same on this arm. Just trying to move the arms. And what I'm going to do is move the arms forward and move them in such a way where he can actually balance. And hopefully if I've done this right, and here we have Scavenger in robot mode. And yeah, if you have him just balanced correctly, he can actually stand by himself. Which is more than I can say for this thing. Mainly because you can actually have him posing his arms going forward like this. And once again, this is quite the big figure. I mean, seriously. So just having a 360 of him. Of course, he's probably going to fall over if I tip him, so I'm just going to be careful. Looking at the face. Of course, he's got that insectoid face that most of the Decepticons in the first 3 movies had. Which is just a really cool looking, and they seem to be bringing back for Rise of the Beast with the Terracons. Because, like, Frieza has a really insectoid looking face. Now, normally this is where I'd look at the accessories, but, well, the only quote-unquote accessory that this guy came with was this little panel thing, which was more just, I think that just came off so he could fit in the box, so I don't know. So let's just go on to comparing him with his old counterparts. Which I'm going to have to hold by hand because, yeah, like even if I try to get him balanced with over his hands, this guy ain't having it. It's not like the new version. Even if I try to get him standing, you see, Yeah, I hate the old version, if you can't tell. But yeah, you can see, like, with the old version, the treads actually did form both wheels, whereas with the new version, the top wheel is a faux piece that can't even roll, whereas the bottom wheel is formed of both treads, which I pathetically failed to even tap in. They can't, like, these can't even rotate forward, so he's always stuck in this gorilla arm pose. So, yeah. Let's move on to this guy's posability. Well, his head can go side to side like this. He can look side to side if you can look up and down. You can look up really far. The arms can, of course, move. If you're careful, he's got a bit of bicep rotation here on a ratchet. Can sort of T-pose, which I'm not going to do the full thing because, of course, he needs his arms to balance. Got joint here. If you want to count this, then go ahead. It's got elbow here. And the claw can open. And for the wheel here, it can sort of go side to side. So if you want to do something with that, then go ahead. So yeah, and not as posable as some figures, but well, of course, he's meant to just roll along in the film. So, well, Demolishor was, but they have the same like body type. So, and of course, this guy's main purpose is to combine with Devastator, which I'll show in a full-on Devastator video in like 20 years. Who knows? But there's other reviewers who showed the torso mode. Emgo, for example, who of course, he's like, Emgo's got his own like dedicated series for transforming figures. So if you want to see the combined mode, just watch that. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about this guy. So let's bring back the backdrop so we can see how he looks with that. And he's probably not even gonna stand now. Of course, physics are just there we go. Just hope he actually stands. And well, that's pretty much all I have to say about this figure. Complaints? Well, for one, of course, you really need the art. Yeah, like you pretty much just need the arms for this guy to stand correctly. So, yeah, I wish this guy came with an included figure stand, which they have done before. Rigid Full and Soundwave came with one. And the RC bikes came with one. Well, 3 actually. So if they can come with stands, this guy could have come with one. So if you want to have this guy on your shelf in a pose, yeah, have a figure stand. On even out, or just put him up in a static pose with his arms on the table. But yeah, this guy's definitely a better standard than the Rigid Full and 2009 version. Other complaints? Well, the vehicle mode is definitely more broken up than the original version because, Of course, the top wheel is definitely visible in certain angles. Also, I have had horror stories about the orbs, such as I saw TF fan pages a video about these getting stress marks. So yeah, I don't really recommend actually tabbing these in. So be careful. So yeah, but well, do I recommend this guy? Hmm. You know what? That's actually kind of hard to say. If you're getting him for Devastator, then absolutely. But just by himself, I'd say if you're getting for cheap, like I did, then sure, because he's cool for like recreating poses, like the scene where Devastator and not Devastator, Demolishor attacks Shanghai, if I remember correctly. But other than that, I'd say just getting for Devastator. So yeah, this has been my review of Studio Series Scavenger, and this is Charlie Young signing off.